let's dismiss those pro-gun talking points. They don't have to be pro-gun. They could be pro-defense. You get to exist and defend yourself. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and drop this link. In the comment section. Yeah, I know we're going over. I don't care. It needs to be done. Here's a link to this article so you guys can follow along from home. And by the way, this article is truly insane. And it starts with just the headline of the article, of course. A prescription to dismiss those quote-unquote pro-gun talking points rather than to debunk them. Right? You would think the appropriate response would be to debunk these talking points rather than to dismiss them. This is what they're actually recommending. After every mass shooting, predictable tropes and platitudes are trotted out like tired old show ponies. And are you tired of hearing our thoughts and prayers are with the families? Where would they be? Where would they otherwise be? Ours has become a nation of empty thoughts and insincere prayers. Screw you. Just screw you. This is your way of just saying, like, these people are praying for these kids. So you don't want them to pray for this kid? You want them to pray for the shooters? Screw you. Just screw you. We're not even going to read this. It's not about guns. It's about mental health. Yes, and we went through the data last week. It's not about the guns. Here, let's zoom in so you guys can see this better. So I guess the citizens of every other country in the world have no mental health issues. Gaslight, because it's not no, it's significantly less. And yes, they do. They don't have West Baltimore. They don't have Southside Chicago. They don't have East St. Louis. They don't have the war zones I lived in Savannah, Georgia. They don't have that. Not in the developed world. Though, again, so I guess the citizens of every other country, which would include places like Somalia, whose capital is Mogadishu, it would include places like Eritrea, would include places like Afghanistan, would include places like Suriname, would include places like the entire third world that makes up a huge percentage of the world. So if we're going to compare ourselves to the rest of the world, if we're going to compare ourselves to, quote, every other country, end quote, the answer is yes, obviously they have serious mental issues in these other countries. There was a shooting that happened today in Nigeria that's finally making news. Only in the United States has mental health become the excuse for mass murder because these guys are insane. Because these guys have serious mental health issues. And it's painfully obvious. We read their manifesto. Are you trying to tell us that these people are rational thinkers? That the rationales that they're providing for shooting up these schools are things that folks should somehow agree with? Please reject this NRA talking point for the smokescreen that it is. Because it's true. Please engage in 1984. And if it really were as simple as getting ill people more services, as in institutionalizing them, why do the same politicians who refuse to regulate guns also tend to refuse to pay for mental health programs and social service safety nets? Bullshit. I'll say it, bullshit. We're the ones that are willing to have government run the mental institutions. We are willing to take out of our taxes, go ahead, put up Arkham Asylum. It's you guys that oppose that. It's you guys that oppose that. We're the ones that are saying if it costs a ton of money to have a guy, instead of being sentenced to 3 to 5, to be sentenced to 35, we're the ones that are in favor of that. You're the ones who are opposed to that. What an unbelievable gaslight. What a disgusting gaslight. Just because we don't want to pay for, and by the way, when they say mental health programs, they mean handouts. They mean give these people money. Guess what happens when degenerates have money? Do they become no longer degenerates, or do they become degenerates which have money? Right? Like, one of the serious questions that our proverbial side is asking is, how did the kid in Uvalde manage to get those guns and ammo in the first place from the sheer economics of the thing? Like, this cost thousands and thousands and thousands. Where did he get this money from? How in the world did he get this money? He was a degenerate who somehow came across money. And guess what? He shot up the school because he was a degenerate and came across the money. Degenerate's gonna degenerate. Surprise of the year. If you give a degenerate money, all he becomes is a degenerate with money. Newsflash. But I'm a responsible gun owner. Yeah? Where the hell are you then? Behind the police line! Why, after every single mass shooting, is there total abject and cowardly silence from the so-called quote-unquote responsible gun owners? But again, what a disgusting gaslight. Because you know what we're saying? We're saying that if we were allowed to carry and we were already there in the first place, like a teacher who would be already there in the first place and who could be allowed to be there, like the janitors, like like the secretaries, like all of the adult human beings in that building who could be packing heat, who are already there. You really, is what this is saying is that the adults in the room who are watching this, you guys at home, they're telling you guys at home that you wouldn't have the guts to take your gun to the school and shoot this guy up. Bullshit. Again, this is a disgusting smear and the exact opposite of what responsible gun owners are saying. Why are you not as outraged as those of us who do not own guns? Again, what this is saying is you're a Republican and you like guns, therefore you like school shootings. Screw you. Like, a giant screw you. What an evil piece of shit this guy is. And this is what the DTC is in agreement with, from what we can tell. He was a lone wolf who acted alone because there was one of them. Because he was one. Hello. Because there was one guy who went to the school and shot it up. No, actually he didn't. Then who's the other person? Name them. Name them, you evil piece of shit. He acted with the full and complete complicity of the cowards in the U.S. Senate who refused to bring up for a vote House Resolution 8, which wouldn't have done a goddamn thing to stop this. This bill passed by the House in 2021 on a bipartisan basis. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I saw the vote count. You got like 8 Republicans to vote in favor of it. Would simply close loopholes in current background checks. Bullshit. That's not what it would have done. We're gonna have to go over House Resolution 8 in 2021 because that's just a disgusting smear of what it was going to do. But it languages in U.S. Senate Mitch McConnell's inbox while kids continue to die. Fuck you. Like, this is what the DTC is sharing. This is what they're in agreement with. This is an isolated incident, a tragedy. We went over the data. It is a tragedy. Are you telling me it's not a tragedy? Are you telling me you're in favor of this sort of thing? This is an isolated incident. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. These things are incredibly rare. And the type of shooting we saw in Uvalde is not what the normal school shooting looks like. For everyone to think, there's 288 shootings a year or something like that. Yeah, like 278 of them are in ghettos. And we went over what those were like. We went over the raw data. It's gang violence. It's gang violence that you guys don't want to do anything about. That the measures that could be in place to get rid of these gangs that have worked in the past and continue to work in the rare places where they're ongoing, it's you guys that oppose them. None of these incidents is isolated. They're a daily part of American life, and they are not tragedies. So Democrats like death. Democrats like I wish I could just copy and paste this. I wish I could copy. DTC leadership, if you're watching this video, tell me why murdering kids is good. They are not tragedies. Tell me why they're not tragedies. Tell me why you like dead kids. A tragedy is something that cannot be prevented, like a hurricane or a flood. What a disgusting. Here we go. Double think. We're just using the 1984 playbook to redefine a word. Suppose 19 kids in the same elementary school in your town suddenly and inexplicably died of the same kind of cancer. That would be a tragedy. How could those kids have gotten that cancer in the first place? Would that get your attention? Again, fuck you. At this point, no longer is this a screw you. This guy is one of the most evil people on earth if he's espousing this nonsense. We never thought it would happen here because the data says so. I never thought I would win the Powerball jackpot because the odds are catastrophically against it. Why not? Why not here? Because the data said so. Because this is reality. And it will continue to happen here and here and here. And in all the little backwater, hard to pronounce, commonplace, poor, rich, barren, leafy, thriving, declining, tiny, huge, uniquely American here, stretching from Sandy Hook to Sacramento. Again, if this is true, then tell me why it's a good investment to invest in the Powerball. Tell me why that's a smart investment. Otherwise, this is just evil. This is just a conducting of evil. It will happen in your workplace, my school, our church, until we stop assuming it will only hit somewhere far away, somewhere we've never heard of, somewhere whose children have less value than our own. I'm pro-life and pro-gun. Oh my God, here this goes. If you are glad Roe v. Wade is about to get overturned because you believe abortion is murder, I'm not even reading it. I know this is going to be a gaslight. What do you call it when that embryo eventually becomes a child, hopping down the steps of a school bus, lunch pail in tow, who enters the school, sits immediately in a chair and is shot dead when a madman bursts in the room? Not murder? No. Again. One is murder. The other one is murder. This is not the Republican talking point. This is not the right-wing talking point. This is not the libertarian talking point. This is not the people that are in the middle. This is not the Democrats who are like, you know what, guns really aren't the problem here. This isn't the Democrats like Destiny who say, well, the data says the gun isn't the problem. Again, what they're trying to tell folks is that the folks that aren't in that wildly, ridiculously left-wing, tiny, pathetically narrow Overton window, that they believe that kids getting shot in school is not murder. This is the same people that said these things aren't tragedies. Again, a big fuck you. And this is what the DTC is sharing. Not the taking of human life, not a sin against the eyes of God, not against your religious beliefs the way abortion is just an unfortunate byproduct of your freedom. No. It's a byproduct of insanity. It's a byproduct of evil, and is therefore evil. And you know this. You know it. The Second Amendment is my constitutional right, and you're coming from a guns. No, we're not. Yes, you are. Bullshit. I'm not even going to read the rest of this. But there's nothing I can do. Yes, there are things you can do, and we went over those things, and you oppose them. This is the DTC, folks. This is your DTC here in New Milford.